What's up, everyone? I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the best way to lose extra body fat and the best way to get a six-pack, which is a lot of people's goals. But what I see is so very few people know how to actually achieve it. So I kind of want to start off and explain my story and how, when I got a six-pack, how I did it and what I kind of did wrong to get it and what I would do differently nowadays to get it. So I kind of started off when I was a little bit younger. I think my freshman year I had a little bit of extra body weight. I ate a lot of food when I started lifting, so I gained muscle and I gained body fat. I never was obese, but I always was kind of like a higher body fat percentage kid. And so I was probably maybe 17-18% body fat. So not a super lean rate, but also not a super like fat either. I was kind of like in between. And I always wanted to get a six pack, and I never had visible abs, or I could never feel my abs. And I had a decent amount of muscle. And me not having abs was a mixture of just having too high of a body fat and not having enough development in general. So my sophomore year, my training got a lot more intense. I did a lot more supersets, and I noticed I started to get a bit leaner, so I did some more cardio. And then eventually I joined the swim team. And we were swimming 3 hours a day. Sometimes we had 2-a-day practices, so I was in the pool a ton, burning a ton of calories, going really hard. And I also was eating in a calorie deficit at that time because I started tracking my calories. And I thought I was tracking enough, but I think I was trying to eat 2,400, weighing about 170 at the time, swimming 3 hours a day, and lifting sometimes because I had a gym class, strength and conditioning. So I didn't have nearly enough calories in me to be able to keep up my lifestyle. And I noticed really quickly, like I started losing a ton of weight. I didn't really lose muscle in the beginning since I was still a beginner in the gym, but my strength definitely wasn't really going up anymore. And I started seeing that, hey, wow, that's quite a bit of weight loss happening. Like I think I remember just looking at the scale one day, I'd lost 10 pounds in 1 week, something crazy like that. I was in a massive deficit. 3 hours in the pool is a lot of cardio, going hard. Swimming is a great full body exercise that really burns a ton of calories. So I was dropping a ton of weight, and I'm gonna put a picture on the screen. This is probably at the peak what I looked like. And it's kind of a bad representation because I actually look relatively big. I had abs, but I also had a very low level of muscle, even less than I did at the beginning of the year. So it was kind of the trade-off. I burned too many calories to the fact where I was starting to burn muscle. I wasn't getting enough protein in. I was tracking it, but I thought I was eating a lot more than I actually was. And so I dropped a ton of weight. I had abs, but what I really didn't know about was I was in too far of a deficit for it to actually be losing good weight. And if I did it right, I would have been able to gain muscle on my cut, but I actually lost quite a bit. And so I was lean. I didn't have much body fat, but I also didn't have much muscle. What I would have done if I could go back was to eat more calories to find out. I'd probably eat 3,000, 3,200. So I'd still be probably in a deficit with the 3 hours of swimming. And I'd up my protein and I'd up the intensity of my actual workouts. And most likely I would have been able to gain muscle while losing fat and still get that ripped look. What you guys want to do is a calorie is a calorie, calories in, calories out, and that's the best way to judge fat loss. So you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I at a high enough body fat percentage to where I can recomp and cut? And if you are, which is most likely, most beginners have the propensity to actually lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, just because they have so much potential of muscle gaining, and they probably have quite a bit of fat too. As a beginner, you can do pretty much about anything. You can bulk and gain relatively no fat at all, and you can cut and gain muscle. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to find your calorie maintenance level at the weight that you're at. And if you have a high enough body fat, you want to subtract probably 300 to 500, depending on how fast you want to lose weight. But it also depends on if you're really going for strength at the same time. 300 is like moderate weight loss, 500 is like you're losing probably over a pound a week, which is good, and that's what we want. And then you want to subtract those calories, maybe add some cardio while strength training, and you should be able to lose the muscle. I keep on messing my words. You'll be able to lose the fat pretty quickly, and if you have strength training, you'll probably be able to recomp and gain muscle at the same time, especially if you're a beginner. What a lot of people don't realize is they think that they're going to be able to spot reduce the fat to be able to train the area, not do enough cardio, eat a lot of food, and lose the fat in the area that they want. That is spot reducing. It's not going to happen. You can't train abs and expect to burn muscle or burn fat in that ab region what you got to do is you got to go into a calorie deficit while training abs to kind of have that mix, so your abs are getting bigger and blockier, but you're also stripping away the fat to define them and show them off. So maybe doing like 2 exercises of abs every day and just kind of changing it up. You can train abs every day and you won't be, as long as you're not going way too hard, you'll be able to recover while still developing abs. And it's really not that hard to lose weight. A lot of people they don't track, and it makes the road to having abs a lot harder. So you want to be able to track them. You want to track calories because that's the quickest way and the easiest way to lose fat. You want to find your maintenance, hit that level, the deficit every day. Deficit. You need to be in a deficit to burn the fat to show your abs. And you need to be working out hard. And if you want to have the mix of gaining muscle and getting abs, you got to train your abs, train the rest of your body while being in a deficit. Maybe adding some cardio in. Cardio, you don't have to do cardio to lose fat. You just have to be in a deficit. You have to be burning more than you're taking in. It wouldn't hurt to do cardio. You'd be able to get in a little bit higher of a deficit, but it also isn't a huge benefit on just general weight loss. It takes a lot to burn several hundred calories, more than a lot of people think. Like, you'll be on the machines, the biking machines, and it'll say you're burning a lot more than you actually are, when in reality you're really not burning that much. So just make sure your food deficit you really want to be focused on being in a deficit food wise. Don't worry, don't even consider keto, don't consider the carnivore diet, don't consider no carbs, because while they might offer short-term really fast results, the weight is most likely going to all come back on after you're done with your cycle. So I'd really recommend just sticking to eating foods that you like but they're healthy, sticking within that calorie range while still being in a deficit and still training hard to get the six-pack. You want to make sure that the weight is coming off, but not too fast. If you're at a higher body weight, let's say you're 25% body fat, you'll be able to lose a lot of fat pretty quickly, and still probably gain muscle at the same time, just because your body has so much food to burn and convert it to muscle and just burn fat. So you can kind of balance the two off. But if you're let's say 19% body fat, you'll have to go at a more moderate pace just so you don't burn too much body fat and start sacrificing your muscle instead. One of the other points I want to hit on is how much protein should you be eating a day. A lot of people eat a lot more protein than they should, which a lot of people think they're eating a lot less protein than they are. But if you're really focusing on having protein every meal, you'll probably be taking enough in. If you're bulking, I like to focus on 0.75 grams per pound of body weight. And if you're cutting, I personally am aiming for 1 gram per pound of body weight, especially since I'm at a higher fat percentage. So when you're at a higher body fat and you have more carbs and more fat to burn, you have a protein sparing effect, which means that you can convert more of the protein is synthesized and turned, and more of it goes into rebuilding your muscles than you would at a lower body weight with less body fat. So a lot of people with higher body weights can get away with going to a higher deficit and eating less protein. I would just say aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight. That 2.5 grams per pound of body weight is just it's just horse crap. That's way too much protein. You're going to be screwing up your digestive system. You're not going to be able to feel good because you'll be eating so much protein. You'll be so just feel nasty. So 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you're bulking, 0.75 grams per pound of body weight to 0.8. There's no need for more because you have that protein sparing effect. But if you're at a lower body weight, if you have lower body fat, you're still cutting, go higher protein so you can make sure that muscle isn't lost. And for recomping, if you are a person who's at a higher body fat, you will be able to lose fat while gaining muscle. If you're at a lower body weight and you're more advanced in training, it's going to be harder to gain muscle and lose body fat, but it's possible. It's all about being in a positive nitrogenous state. I don't know if I can fully explain that correct to you guys, just because it is more complicated and that's not my full level of, that's not where all my intelligence is at, but it is pretty cool science, and you are able to do both. So the answer is you are able to lose fat and gain muscle. It's harder, it'll be slower than just in a conventional bulk, but it is possible. If you're purely trying to get abs, train your abs. I'd recommend training the rest of your body parts too. Maybe not as frequent, but making sure you're in a deficit. Make sure you're tracking the calories. Going into a 300 to 500 calorie deficit, it works. Trust me. You'll be able to shed that body fat really quick and have abs that are maintainable, compared to just going into a crash diet, getting abs, but then shooting back up. But best of luck to you guys. I hope that this helps your muscle journey and your journey for aesthetics and whatever physique you want. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I would love to address them in later videos. Other than that, I hope you guys have a nice day. Peace!